All right, man. How you doing?
Good.
Good, dude.
Good,
All right. So I just want to hear your story. Just give me a little bit of your background first. Like, where'd you grow up? You know, your experience with Bountiful, pre-being a coach.
Yeah. So I'm a Bountiful alum. I was actually born in Kearns, and before I can remember, we moved to Bountiful and lived right next to my grandparents. We were able to build a house there. So my dad is a Bountiful alum. He grew up in Bountiful and played at Bountiful High, and had his brothers. So my uncles played, and the Freckleton name has kind of been at Bountiful High for a long time. Most people who hear the name Freckleton say, "Oh, who's your dad?" And so I'm able to tell my dad's Doug and uncle's Brad, and they kind of can connect the dots. And so I grew up here in Bountiful, played football under Coach Wall, played baseball under our athletic director, Clark Stringfellow. And after my playing days were over, after high school, I went down to Dixie State for a semester before my mission and redshirted down there. It was a great experience to kind of see college football and get that taste as a redshirt. And then I served mission in Samoa, which was an awesome thing for me and a really life-changing and developing time for what I went through, and just learned about a great people and culture and tried to learn those things and still try to apply them today. And I came home and tried to continue my football career. I was going to go to Weber State, but at the last minute I decided, you know what, I'm going to go try to walk on at BYU. And so I went down in the spring for a walk-on tryout and didn't make it. Wasn't big enough, strong enough, fast enough, whatever it may be. And so after that, it was kind of a decision. All right, what am I going to do next? And bumped into some people who were coaching, and old coaches who coached me said, come coach. And so I went to Weber State and started as a sophomore unpaid assistant coach.
Like a grad assistant type coach?
Basically, or what? Yeah. Just I was on the sophomore staff as a volunteer and did whatever I could to learn and help, and spent a couple years doing that, and then slowly progressed up and after some time went to varsity and helped with the JV and positions, and kind of went through each phase and each stage, and became a coordinator and eventually became the head coach. And it was a really valuable experience for me to coach each phase and each process, because now as I am on the other end and bringing people on, and I have some understanding of what they want, where they want to go. You know, everyone wants to be a part of the varsity, but that sophomore staff is so important to have guys there who are teaching, developing, and keeping players loving the game.
Yeah.
So that's
okay. So
story.
All right. So before we move forward, what position did you play?
I was a quarterback.
Quarterback.
I was. And I was a B teamer in Little League growing up. My the position of quarterback, what I wanted to play was also the position of another kid whose dad was a coach, and my dad could coach, and so they would often, think, oh, B team, and I took that, on and loved it and owned it, and kind of share that with kids as they come up. My sophomore year, I rotated a little at quarterback, but not a lot. It wasn't until my junior year that I was given an opportunity, and I was in a three-way race at quarterback with two of my really good friends. All of us were juniors, and early on I was put as the number 3. And so I was told, you know what, you're going to play JV quarterback, but we're going to try to move you and play, a corner or a receiver. And I said, okay, coach. And I kept working really hard at quarterback. And through the first 4 games, neither of the other 2 guys were getting the job done. And I was doing good enough that the coach said, all right, this week we're going to give you an opportunity in practice to compete. And I won the starting job and came out in the first game against Cyprus. And my first pass was a touchdown. It ended up being...
For them or for you?
For me.
Okay.
For us. And, got the ball to the right guy, and he did the rest. And I was the starter the rest of the way my junior year and my senior year. And it was a really fun experience.
Okay, so my next question was actually, what's your most memorable play from high school? And it may have been that first one, which is a great one. But
yeah,
what would you say is your most memorable play?
Was certainly a good one. I have some ones that still sting me. A play that I couldn't get the ball over the defender, but probably my most memorable in all my high school career, what happened on defense. I also played safety situationally. I was kind of the nickel safety who'd come in, and we were playing Woods Cross. And back then we had a 20+ year streak of wins against them. And as I was in high school, each game was getting a little tighter, a little closer. And it continued after I left, but we were playing, and a close game in the fourth quarter. I ended up throwing an interception, and we were up by, I think, just 2 points at the time. And it was fourth quarter, late in the game, and it was third down. And, I saw my open receiver, and I was being tackled as I threw the ball, and the ball popped up and got intercepted. And so they had the ball with 2 minutes to go, driving down the field. And as they were driving down, they kept going. They wanted a touchdown. And with under a minute left, they're going to score, and I'm on defense, and they throw the ball up to the guy I'm guarding, and I picked it off in the end zone.
Let's go.
And that was a really cool thing. And so we just took a knee after that and won the game.
Yeah.
And so that was one that I think will always stay with me against Crosstown, and keeping that streak going, and a chance for me to redeem the interception I threw. And it was a play that they had run earlier in the game. I recognized it as they were running it, and the receiver was running a comeback route, and he had beat me earlier on the same thing. And I was just hoping, throw this ball, throw it, trying to bait him into it, and he threw it, and I came down with it. So.
Man, a lot of life lessons you can pull out of that experience. How cool is that?
I have. I've used them once or twice before. But
That's super cool.
It was cool.
Okay, so what brought you back to Bountiful High then?
I think it was the desire to go back to where I established myself and where I had such a great experience, opportunity. My mom still lives here. My wife is a Bountiful alum. She was a sophomore when I was a senior. We didn't know each other at the time. It wasn't until after high school. She always teases me that she knew who I was, but I didn't know who she was. But it just seemed like the place that I wanted to start and wanted to see if it would work. And as I finished up school, the coaching opportunities became better and better. And as I finished school, that's when I became a varsity assistant. And it just seemed like the right fit, as this is the place I want to plant my roots and have a family. And so
when did you move to Bountiful, back to Bountiful? When did you come back to Bountiful and start in the program?
As soon as I didn't make the team at BYU, and that was in the spring of 2012.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So I moved home to live at home and go to Weber State.
Right.
That seemed like
and you started coaching the sophomore team.
And I started coaching
and
the
then worked your way up.
team. And then.
So when, there was a shuffling of Wall retires, there's a shuffling of other coaches that get chosen as head guys who weren't even Bountiful guys or part of the staff. What was that process like for you?
It was a good learning experience. I wanted the head job at each phase. There were 2 other guys from Coach Wall, and in their own right, they did some really good things, and I learned a lot from them. And that was my approach. And it was hard. I had to, check my ego and check the pride and say, all right, I'm young, I have time, I need to learn more. I'm not ready yet. And so I tried to learn everything I could, and I really learned a lot from both Coach Johnson and Coach Hughes. They were really good mentors and helped, I think, prepare me for my opportunity. And again, it was at one point questions of do I go somewhere else? Do I try other avenues? Am I never going to get where I want to be because I'm just staying here and I'm a Bountiful? People would say you need to go get experiences other places. You need to learn other things. And I kind of ignored that and said, I'm going to be a Bountiful guy. And I'm going to hope I get an opportunity. And, at the end of the day, it's not about me or any other of the coaches. It's about doing our best to make sure the players have the best experience and opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer of that. It's, I have some great assistant coaches, Coach Walker, our defensive coordinator, who has a ton of input and say in what we do, because it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of people coming together. And so it helped me, I think, in not getting the opportunity right away to understand there's more to it than just me and what I want. And this program is bigger than me.
Yeah. Man, a lot of lessons in humility, perseverance, right? Getting back up, like all powerful principles and characteristics that kind of establish who you are, but obviously the type of culture that you're trying to create. So tell me more about, now you're the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. What, it's kind of probably drinking from a fire hose to a certain extent, but what is, talk to me about the program. You've got kind of this tradition, character, effort mentality. Walk me through that.
Yeah, for me, when I was going through the interview process multiple times, it became clear like I need to have a vision of where I want this program to go, more than just the success of a legendary coach and Coach Wall who could show up and everyone knew what was expected and, it was integrated. It was time for me when I want to take over to say, all right, what kind of program are we going to be? And I developed these 3 pillars that I feel like are Bountiful football. And the first one being tradition. Tradition is such a key part of Bountiful, and it's something that a lot of schools don't have. And we're fortunate to talk about our tradition. That people who know about high school sports and high school football, they know Bountiful football to be a tough, physical team, fundamentally sound. And when we're on the field, we're going to get after you. And we're going to do it in a first-class way. We're going to play between the whistles. We're not a cheap team, a dirty team, and we're going to make you work. And if you don't bring your A game, we're going to get after you. And that was always something important to me. As I grew up, I lived it. I watched it. My brothers played. Again, my dad played and would talk about it. And so for me, it was so important as the first thing to make sure that was established in this program, again, was tradition. Because we have it and we need to build off of it. So we talk to the players about it every day and say, you have a long line of tradition behind you of guys who did it the right way, who established things. Now it's your turn. What's the tradition going to be moving forward? And it's really a beautiful thing when you get into it. Our second pillar was effort. Effort is something that is 100% controllable for the players. When you come to practice, when you come to a game, everything you do, you get to control your effort you bring. And so it's something, again, we talk about every day. Did you do your best today? And if you did, that's all we're going to ask. Are you doing your best? You're not cutting corners. You're not taking plays off. You're not being selfish. You're being a team guy. And so much revolves around effort that it's fun to talk about because you can tie in other things. And then the third thing is character, because ultimately there's more to life than just football. And these kids need to be high character kids. Everywhere they go, everything they do, they represent us, Bountiful football. And they represent us, and how are they going to do that? In the right way, as people look to them on the weekends at parties, in grocery stores, when you see someone you don't even know and you're wearing Bountiful football, you represent us. And then ultimately, what are you doing when no one's looking? Are you making the right kind of decisions and pushing yourself? And so we expect our football players to be high character young men who are doing things the right way and pushing themselves to what they want to become. And so we felt like those 3 things centered around football, classroom, academically, and in the social end, in the community, we build those pillars on those 3 things, and it can lead to success. There's more to it, but if we really get them to buy into those, then everything we do is built on that foundation. Yeah. And it's been, the last couple of years have been good.
I love it. So I do want to talk about the last couple of years, but prior to that, talk to me about the community, this kind of it takes a village mentality. Obviously, the program, has shifted. You had this kind of legacy coach in Coach Wall, as it went through few years of various coaches and a mascot change and so forth, and now kind of landing back on a legacy, Bountiful guy running the program. What kind of message do you want the community to hear? How should the community look at Bountiful? I think there's this, there's a certain distance that's been created, and I want to know how you're overcoming that. What do you want the community to know about you and about the program?
I think overall it's about Bountiful football is still Bountiful football, the thing that they loved before. And honestly, we have great support. On Friday nights, our stands are filled, and people are coming to games supporting, And the community of Bountiful loves football. And so if there, for those that are disconnected and haven't been around in a while, well, we want them to come back out, come watch a game, come experience, because we feel like we are right back where we used to be and moving forward and beyond. We really do try to do things the right way on and off the field. And it's not just about winning football games, but that is important. We want to win. We want to get after it and play at the highest level we can. And I think as people learn about what we're doing, we're doing a lot of things off the field and really pushing these kids to help prepare them for their futures. And I think when people learn about that, they're going to see, man, I want to be a part of this. And best answer is, yeah, come be a part of it. Find a way to be a part of it. And I love that mentality because parents, players, community members, high school football is a beautiful thing. And when you get a chance to be a part of that, whether it's as a player, as a parent, it's fun to have a piece to the puzzle and a way to bond and a way to come together. And so we're always trying to encourage people to find a way to be involved. And that doesn't always mean, scheming up the plays and yelling about what we should run on third downs. But there's certainly a way for people to come and get involved. And for those who are owning businesses and want to get their business name out there and things like that, like we have opportunities and to try to make it a win-win where we're not just taking your money and using it in unknown ways. We want people to know what we're doing. And it does take a lot. It takes a great community support. And, we feel like we're right there, and we're going to be making it to Rice Eccles here soon. And we're going to have a great outpouring of support of people coming and supporting Bountiful football because they love it. It's deep rooted. When you've come through Bountiful, you know that it's something that you're proud to be a part of. And we just want to keep that rolling.
Yeah, that's great. What's the message to these kids coming up? It seems with open enrollment and recruiting and all this stuff that seems to be going on in high school sports, and even down to the junior high level and even earlier, it seems like, what is your message to these Bountiful kids coming up, and, what should they expect from this program and look forward to with this program? And what should they consider versus the other schools around here that seem to be chasing everybody?
Yeah. I think it's come make Bountiful great. Be a Bountiful Built kid who grew up in Bountiful, who invested with your friends in the community you live, and make it a prominent program that has a lot of respect. And for those that have the ability and the talent and desire to go play at the next level, we're going to give kids those opportunities. We have players right now being recruited by schools all across the country. And it takes talent, it takes ability, but if you fit into that, we're going to get you great opportunities as coaches. We go to work. We have a lot of coaches on staff who have a lot of connections. And if you're not a D1 talented kid because you're not 6'4" and have that God-given size, then we're going to find somewhere else for you to fit in and get to continue football if that's your desire. And if that's not your desire, then let's find what is, and let's help you be prepared for your next step. And so for these youngsters coming up, I'd like them to know that we're going to give them the best opportunity to be successful. And we want it to be here. We want them to have pride in the tradition of Bountiful and to come make it better, make it their own and make it special moving forward. And let's get some state championships again. And, just continue to make Bountiful a great place to be.
Yeah. So, look, state championships are all about starting winning region. You won region the last couple of years. What's been the difference? Like back-to-back, undefeated in region? Like, tell me about that. What's been the big difference? It's a great way to start your career, for sure.
For sure.
Just like that first pass.
Yeah. We've had great kids, for sure, hungry, who have kind of experienced some of the lowers and not winning, and they were hungry to do what they were asked, and they bought into what we were trying to do. And so that buy-in has really become a great family atmosphere from senior to freshman. They're connecting, they're making relationships that are last a lifetime. And it's not just about the senior class. or the junior, the sophomore. We've really tried to blend everything together to be a family. And we've had, the last 2 years, we've had some really talented players who have helped us in securing some of these wins, but we've had some games come down to the wire. And it wasn't one guy who won the game, it was the team. And so the more we've built on team, the better we've been and the more successful and the closer these guys have gotten. And so we're ready to, we of course want to keep winning region and keeping that going. And our region is growing. We're adding 2 more teams, 2 more challenges. But we also we've been in great position the last 2 years in state and close on state losses. And, we win those games, we're making it to the semis, and who knows from there where we're going. So we're ready to take that next step, and we're working that way right now. The guys who are here in the program, they are working their butts off right now and preparing themselves to take that next step.
Okay, I love it. So if I'm a kid, leaning into this program and wanting to come in, what's their best way to prepare for the rigors of high school ball?
That's a good question. I think being prepared to be coachable is important, so that when you're told something by a coach, it becomes applied. It's not, you don't have to be asked over and over. I think being prepared to be a well-rounded young man is very important. I am not a football-only guy. I am a true believer of multiple sport athletes, and for multiple reasons. But I think playing another sport is going to help you become a better football player, no matter what sport it is, whether that's baseball, lacrosse, running track, wrestling, basketball. And get out there, get involved, and you push yourself, and you learn skills, and you become more athletic. So I want kids coming in to know that we want multiple sport athletes. We want you to be involved. Go win a state championship in another sport. Go win region somewhere else. Go put yourself in an environment that's tough, and you have to learn how to navigate through it, because that's only going to help us when we're coming down in the fourth quarter, tight game, and we need someone to make a play. And the whole culture of the team is ready to succeed. So I think rolling that way, and then just, kind of with our core values, being a high character kid, being someone who you're navigating as a young junior high. It's hard. Sometimes your parents get you frustrated. You're learning how to deal with those things. But being someone who's making the right decisions for the right reasons, that's what we want in our program, because that's going to make us better. And if someone's not that way, then we're going to get them in here and we're going to help them to be that way. But having that internal desire is something that you can't put on a kid. If they don't want to do it, then they won't. So we want them to be hungry coming in to be their best selves. And that's going to look different for everybody. You have your stars, and you're talented, and you have your everything in between. And we want everyone to be their best and to come in and let's grow. Let's grow together.
Yeah, I love it. So obviously we've been working together the last couple of years with the Bountiful Built program. What's drawn you to that program?
Bountiful Built is awesome because it fits in perfectly with this mentality that there's more to life than football, and pushing kids on an academic level, keeping track of them, expecting more out of them is something that comes with Bountiful Built, and then tracking them and helping them prepare for their future, talking to them about what are you going to do after high school, whether it be a mission, whether it be college, whether it be military service, or some other opportunity, a trade school. Where do you fit in this? And then helping them get there is what is really cool to see. Our senior class, we have each senior noted on what they're doing next. And there's a handful going to serve a mission. There's some going to university. There's a group that are going to do internships. And that's something that I'm really excited about. That through Bountiful Built, we partnered up and given kids opportunities to go and get in the workplace and learn these skills, and then turn around and in a couple of years be making some real money.
Yeah.
And then from there, they get to become great husbands, great fathers, great community members, and give back. And that's a cool thing to see. And you won't know until many years, we've said it, 20 years down the road, we'll see how successful we've been with this group. But it's really cool to see those other opportunities and these kids, kind of the light bulb clicking, like, oh, I was going to go play D1, but I'm, 5'11", 150 pounds. I guess I can't do that. So what am I going to do next? And already giving them those opportunities and saying, oh, this is an option. This, what fits you? It's really cool for them, I think, to see that and say, oh, there's more, and there's other ways for me to find success. And it's been really cool, a great partnership.
Well, hopefully in those next 20 years, some of those kids come back and join your sophomore staff.
Absolutely.
Start working their way up.
I think that's the way to do it, for sure.
So just a couple last questions. How did you meet your wife?
So it was after I didn't make it at BYU and I moved home that summer as I started coaching, there was a coach who coached me and taught her and said, hey, are you dating anyone right now? And at the time I wasn't. He had actually tried to set us up once or twice before, but I was dating someone or she was dating someone. And so it timed out, and she had just gotten home from an internship and wasn't dating anyone either. So he said, hey, why don't you her name's Haley, why don't you take Haley out on a date? And so I called her up, and my friends, we were playing volleyball down in the West Bountiful Park, the sand courts down there. And I said, want to come play some volleyball? And she was very impressive as a volleyball player, as an athlete. So caught my eye there, and just a lot of fun, just a really good time. And we said, all right, what are you doing tonight? And we hung out that night, and then every night for the next week. And but it was Coach Rose who initiated that and made it happen, and everything kind of fell into place. I was disappointed to not get that opportunity at BYU, but I can confidently say things may not have gone this way if I would have been up at BYU. I might have been too busy. May not have happened. And I am so fortunate. My wife is the best thing in my life. She is just a rock star and supportive and a wonderful mother. We have 4 awesome kids, from 8 to 1, 3 boys, and finished it off with a girl. And we're creating a fun family that is just a blast, and we have a really good time, and we love it here. We're both Bountiful people and want to be here and create a family and let our kids have these experiences. And so I owe a lot to Coach Rose, and a great family friend and person that I think. But it's funny how kind of it all came together, and football was a key part for me there as well. But
so potentially a 3rd generation of Freckletons.
I think
playing
so.
at Bountiful High.
I think
Love
so.
it.
We'll let them decide for sure. But I know both my older boys are. My son, who's going to be 8, he's already telling me tackle football this fall, and I'm saying I'm a little hesitant. But my wife hit me with, well, when did you start playing? And I was 7 years old playing tackle football. So he'll be, I think, throwing on the helmet and playing this fall. So
well, this has been super nice, man.
Yeah.
Look, I have certainly loved getting to know you over the last several years, and hopefully this gives a glimpse for these players, upcoming players, and the community to understand the type of character you have and the type of person you are. I think their kids are in great hands. So thank you.
This
was nice.
It's been a great partnership, and more to come.
Right on.
Awesome. Thanks.